What's good YouTube, and welcome to the house. In just a moment, we're gonna go into a deep dive on the collector's market and how it's going exponentially crazy versus what it used to be. But first, I want to take a moment to thank the people who called me insane for thinking Dragoons would pass even under $40, let alone head towards 30. For everybody who thought it would stay 40 and above, here we are just one day later, and it's already down in price. And then tomorrow, the Megatins actually get released where organized tournament stores can sell them, and Friday everywhere. It's like people haven't seen the dance and show that are Megatin releases where each year there's oh my gosh, how have these prices fallen so far? And history repeats itself. Even without promos, even with tens being a little shorted on the distro level, they're gonna see mass quantities. And one of the top sellers leading the charge here, Chow Productions, with 18 quantities, and then you would have to buy 8 more and 2 more to spike it up towards 83. Well, hey, you can use that TCG player link in the description down below, buying the cards you already would be buying to support the channel directly that are going to go down further in price as competition heats up. If you think taking 28 off the market's gonna do something to this card, good luck, have fun, GG no re with your money. That being said, let's get into a deep dive on the collector's market, starting with Metamorphosis. Eyebrow raising. This was consistently at $300 for so long, and now we see it's bought out, and copies coming back are around $600. I remember when you could get a graded one of these at PSA 10 at like $350, and people kind of, I'm not gonna go ahead and touch that. And on a lot of these listings, you will see the foreign market also cheaper because they're more abundant over there, as well as their market isn't as crazy on these cards, but they will go up over time, I think, in the foreign market as well. Look at Pokemon. Used to, foreign first ed base set was a joke, and you could get those boxes, and now they have risen to crazy proportions as people just want to open up something that they call first ed base set, and you're going to see a lot of that with our collector's market too. Pokemon's collector market has about 6x'd on a lot of cards, where ours is only doubling and then trending upwards past that. So ours hasn't even reached its full height and potential. Not to vintage value to you and tell you, to the moon, you're gonna have Lambos and strippers and all these crazy things. No, calm down, but it is probably going to continue going up rather than having a bubble burst all of a sudden. Even with events coming back, the collector's market is going to be what has the longest term effect from this situation. Lumina Lightsworn Summoner is also up $430. I remember when you could consistently get these for $130, but this means all the $300 copies are gone, and this is somewhat the fallout from it being bought out. Crazy prices that are actually getting sales rates as people complete things. Sakuretsu Armor, if you foiled out your GOAT deck, is sitting pretty around $200 for just the lowest copy. You can't even get a playset for that, and it really looks like we have this market just going for anything collectors, but largely ignored, largely under the radar for a lot of people was the champion pack market, and now we're feeling the burn. Night Assailant also up towards 200. Infinite Loops, my brother, or able to just pitch it off tribe and get advantage back, or have a man-eater bug in GOAT format. Magician of Faith is crazily priced, $500 from a lower rated $6.99 nice seller before it's $700, and people are actually considering buying these. I personally don't blame them, seeing how the entire market is going, but you should have probably bought in lower if you could have. Now you're stuck at this gateway of, will it continue to go up? The answer is probably yes. It's most likely going to continue this way as people are now playing hot potato vendor. It's not just collectors in here trying to grab the last pieces before they spike into craziness. It's also like, you can look at the Funko Pop community. A lot of people get them in just to keep for a year in resale. Some people could be trying just to do 1-year investments to see how it goes, dipping their toe into the pond. What I'm actually concerned about later, I'll get to. Gravekeeper's Spy is something you would want 3 of, right? Well, towards 300 versus this used to sit in binders and not be able to sell at $50 for the longest. Bottomless Trap Hole. A lot of you guys might have made money if you listened to me. I pointed out when this was $80 and I felt like was very undervalued for what it is versus Yu-Gi-Oh's history. Triple that up to $240 before it goes to $300 very quick. And finally, Book of Moon. the star of the show. Good luck getting your hands on this near mint. We see a German copy, though, at 320. Again, you're going to consistently see these, especially even in lighter play, cheaper than the rest of the market. But let's go to near mint, 350 in German. That's a pretty good price considering what it could go up to for all copies. And then you see the near mint English just under 500. Could that go up? An iconic card in multiple pass formats. If we get pass format popularized, which we saw 2011 Plant actually happened to have during this time during lockdown, we saw it getting played online by a bunch of pros, pushed even in a tournament setting by them. You could see cards like this go even further if that catches on into real life. Think about what happened with GOAT format. Of course, this is a GOAT format card, but if you get other formats that include these cards and more people want to fully hollow out those decks they're long-term keeping, you better bet that the market is not only going to continue to see more like play versions of these since they're being constantly used and their opponents are going to be rougher with their cards than they would be, but also you're going to see the demand for those go up as well. Now let's talk DDS Blue Eyes. Sold listings above $5,000. I know also Coors Vault has some interesting cards. I was eyeing one at $5,000 on here because I even theorized, well, that could kind of go up towards like 10, 20 grand in a year. They sold a $5,000 copy when the DDS Blue Eyes themselves were selling not too long ago in the 3,000 range, like 3,500, and it's gone up since. Now they are actually hitting home runs at 5,000s, and the listings are few and far between if we go and look. Whew. Now you see pre-owned, yes, and then we see loose copies here at that price. Man, it is crazy if you're hunting that card down. But with the Dark Magician PSA 10, this is another interesting one. I'm not sponsored by Core to show this or anything. This is one I would start the gears turning on. That could be 5,000 in a year to 2. This market keeps going crazy, and DDS Blue Eyes brings a lot of attention to that set, and Dark Magician is no slouch when it comes to it. We've seen that exponentially rise over time. It used to be $20 to up to $200. Now, if you're hunting near mint ones, good luck. Crazy to see this at $2,000, and even crazier to think it's something I might personally buy just to hold on to. Now, let's talk about Ultimate Rares, and, you know, the Champion Pack stuff is nice. It really is something unique to Yu-Gi-Oh! History that was the next level of pricing, giving us the holofoils of things that we wanted to do to our decks. And when it comes to the Ultimate Rares, I feel like there's more of them out there, but they're aging very well for what they are. Dragon Rulers! We see Big Eye getting a bump up in price. That means all the $60 ones actually got bought to end up there, but it's at $75 chilling. Mystical Space Typhoon, a super iconic card in Yu-Gi-Oh! With the Ghost Rare version and other arguable top versions, around $80. We see Max C, one of the most coveted Ultimate Rares alongside Dark Armed, as we showed recently on a Market Watch. Well, wow. He's up here almost to $400, and he's a ban card. Imagine if this peels off, what it could actually do to the market for this card. It could either actually go down from the amount of people waiting for it to come off, or it's highly likely to see huge competitive play spike up way above 500. The Breeze Dragon, speaking of plant format, we talked about how that was being pushed before. From $30 upwards towards $50. Even the smaller stocks are going up. And again, plant format. Tragodia got a lot of eyes on it recently, it seems like, and it's up towards $90. Kind of one of those unique pieces of Yu-Gi-Oh! History. The second Gores. If Gores 1 was so good, why isn't there a Gores 2? Well, besides the token, here's Tragodia. Atlantean Dragoons recently got, for the charity tournaments, more circulation thanks to packs being put into the charity tournaments by Konami, and that was the soup drive, if I recall. It actually got lowered in price thanks to it. Otherwise, it would be at $200, but there's way more on market. And Marksman, something that sat at $30 forever, and you can see the market price is $54, is now upwards of $70 as people just keep getting these decks that look like they're stunks. Mermail Deck Core, it's just destined to go up, and it seems like that's true. Chaos Sorcerer, a lot of people are playing Chaos in GOAT format, also a semi-iconic card. It happens to be at $120 now for its ultra rare, really going up way past what it used to be, double its market price, but it's a very long-lived market price. Heraclinos, the secret rare we recently saw went up as well. Well, here we have a French one at 7777 before you get to the English, as I personally would go for English on copies like these. If you're an old school player, you would actually remember wow, people used to pay more for French and Italian on cards like these. Our market has just shifted so internationally and easy access that they're willing to sell it for less, and that's why consistently the English copies are worth more now. Caius, we see, is up towards 75. This is one that would always fall back to 30, but now it falls back towards 60 as you see the market price. Colossal Fighter, considered one of the trash ultimate rares, sat at $18 forever. You see its market price is now 30, and it's well above that if you're hunting English copies, and you can see foreign ones, again, the lowest for that reason I mentioned. Fishborg Blaster, something on the ban list, unlikely to ever come out. Recent buyout here for, is this a Turbo Pack Super? $35. Yes, it is Turbo Pack. Prohibition, back to the champion packs. You can see memes have bought this out several times, although I've suggested it personally as a funny tech. $40 here, above its market price of $30. It's just these old super rares are commanding such high prices. Dimensional Fissure, an amazing Floodgate, up towards 75. They're just mixing in, you know, with the ultimate rares in terms of prices now. They are just treading water and even swimming past them in some cases. Mind Crush I find interesting because this actually got hurt by a recent Konami ruling update and really drained the demand for this because it was a competitive thing that people wanted to play, and you see it sitting at 50 for a card realistically that, like, alongside its brethren, I would think would be a $100 card, but it got hurt by actual history of the game. Bestiary is one that I think would actually be higher for what it is. Gladiator Beast format and Gladiator Beast, the deck itself is very remembered fondly, yet it's at 60. So this is one of those ones that, again, I'm looking at the market, some things make sense to how I think they would go, and other things not quite as fast as I think they would go. Where Threatening Roar, this is one I still have a bunch of in my closet, because it would be so hard to sell this for the $18 it was worth. Everybody wanted to pay $12, and now you can multiply that by over 10, $140, $150 for the lowest copies. People are going in here and there on what they remember or what they think is strong, and certain places of this collector market just want make head sense. If it's rare, it's hard to get, it's somewhat memorable, buy it. And that's where it's going. I constantly say on Market Watch that not everything can be money, but it seems like everything old is really headed there. And you'll see motivated sellers like this, 0% feedback, somebody coming back saying, hey, I'll undercut the market by half, just take mine, I know I don't have the feedback. Just take mine, still double the market value. So you're going to have emotional sellers as well, or people motivated to sell here and there. Fearmonger, this is another one that just couldn't move forever. A very niche play in competitive history. Wow, $100. I can't believe what I'm seeing. I remember this being $18 forever, and you even see the market price 22, but the sellers are all trying to line up together and push it there. Sometimes competition will ramp up, but it seems like a lot of people are willing to just sit on these cards. Trap Dushu has problems coming near mint, by the way. Out of CP5, you see that it actually has foiling wear whenever you're packing it out of those champion packs. $250 for the first near mint before it's $400. You can have the money, be sane, and you might not even see the cards that you want to get. Magical Merchant, a GOAT option in its holofoil form. $175. I pulled one of these luckily out of bulk recently, and then $300. That's one of those treasure finds out of bulk, I tell you. That was crazy. Wave Motion Cannon is actually lower than I think it should be, and only for the reason that Mystic Mine Burn had a lot of attention on this before, so a ton of people are sitting on it that don't necessarily want it, and now you see it's at 45. It became the less favorable win condition, not what they want to stick to, and yeah, for good reason, with all these people having it that don't want it anymore, is sitting at 50. This is another one we could see just shoot up to 100 on a whim of one deep pocket in the market. Spirit Reaper's one I find absurd, and it's the $280 copies are gone. Are you kidding me? Wow, it's up towards 300. There were multiple 280 copies, and those are gone. People are really either pulling their listings or paying these prices. Snipe Hunter, I think, is lower. It's a very iconic card and looks great as a super, but I think just from the actual physical frustration of people who used to play this, I personally lost a top 16 at a Shonen Jump off of 2 missed snipe rolls, and that RNG aspect could be very well why people don't have a fond memory of it and why it hasn't spiked ridiculously. But kind of, when we look at the champion pack supers, they're doing so well. This is actually cheaper than years ago when you're looking at a lot of the light plays or even near mints. This is kind of one of the more interesting looks too. The Champion Pack Supers are what people like way more than these original higher rarity put into the Champion Pack cards. Will they get a look? Will something that previously was valued, that become less valued, rise up again? There's just all these question marks on the collector's market. The prices have gone phenomenally insane. I think they're going to continue. I think weird things are going to get second looks, missed emotional things. You know, look, these two cards are semi together in terms of meta iconicness. Could it really be that frustration versus this guy saved me all these times? There is emotion in investing. There actually is. When it comes to the decisions to sell cards, what you're going to buy, there is a personal little heartbeat at times rather than just this cool calculated head. And it's kind of funny to watch out of the same champion pack. But thanks for watching this deep dive into the collector's market and how it has been spiking in different places, almost exponentially so. A lot of people have wanted me to cover cards on here, and at the end of the day, I don't think the event boom that is going to cause a lot of coolant on the meta market, like I think a lot of rogue decks will fall out in price, tons of deals are going to happen on that floor, the online marketplace won't be so choked. I think the collector's market is actually going to continue to rise, but at what rate? Not as crazy as it is right now, but I think that's where it's going to continue to trend, as a lot of people are putting their money there. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Use that TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying that are very good for their price point, rather than questionably going down as a Megaton pre-sale. And wow, just crazy to see what some of these are actually pulling in terms of sales these days.